We're doing it. We're doing it. I don't even know how to start, but welcome to being friends with Jess and Toni-ann.
You just turned directly into your podcast voice. Like you've been practicing that.
I've not been practicing that at all. Actually, I just didn't know how to start. So that felt appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, this has been a goal of ours for how many years? 5.
Yes, pretty long, pretty long.
The original name was terrible. Don't even want to say what it was. But here we are now, finally doing it, and we have no idea what we're doing. So
No.
give us a lot of grace and just listen to us. And if you hate it, just put it on and just like don't even listen to it. Just pretend you're listening to it.
Right, exactly. We actually don't want you to tell us if you're watching it or listening to it. We actually prefer you don't tell us.
We're really embarrassed by ourselves.
Like, we'll appreciate the likes, but I don't want like you to reach out.
We're already really terrible at this job. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna keep it short and sweet. But we're gonna start with how we became friends, because I feel like my version of how we became friends and Toni-ann's version of how we became friends are going to be the same but different.
Yes. By the way, I'm Toni-ann. That's Jess.
That's all right. Oh, it says your name. It doesn't say mine.
It does have our name. Oh, I see.
Also, if they don't watch this, then they still have to know our names.
Yeah.
Who's who? Good point.
Right.
Okay. Valid. So
this could be to random strangers. It's not going to be the people we know.
The people we know are going to be like, this is very on brand for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
welcome.
We have our drinks in hand, and here we go.
All right, Jess. I'm going to go first on how we met because it's going to be a lot shorter. I just know it.
I want you to go first because in my head, I'm going to be laughing about the lack of details.
Because as you'll learn, Jess has a memory about literally everything that's ever happened in her life and mine, and I remember absolutely nothing. So this is going to be a trend. But basically, Jess and I both went to Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey, Madison, New Jersey, Florham Park. What up? And we both played softball. So freshman year, I got to FDU. I'm going to say like my beginning story and then how it leads to you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I got to FDU, was recruited to play softball. It was only like a half hour from home, 40 minutes from home, but I fall semester hated it there. I absolutely hated it. Wanted to leave, wanted to transfer. All my friends went to schools upstate and were having much more fun, it appeared, than me because that's just what it seemed on social media. And I hated it. And because it was the fall, I obviously didn't meet my team yet. So I was just hanging out with people in my dorm, like in the freshman dorms, and I hated them all. They were all horrible people. And I hated my roommate. Hopefully she doesn't watch this.
Listen, it's in the past. It's in the past. We've all grown as people. We're all grown. We are not who we were freshman year.
But anyway, finally, end of October, beginning of November is when we had our first meeting as a team, and all of us froshies came together. And then I believe Jess is already correcting every single point of my story in her brain. I'm watching it happen. Because she's like, nope, that's not the first time we met. Nope, that's not what happened. But as I remember it, somehow, some way, we all came together, and our first party, college party together, was an anything but clothes ABC party at a frat house off campus. I'm not going to say the name of the frat because I don't think that matters, and I don't really remember. And that's when all of us hung out for the first time. Jess, I'm sure I obviously did talk to you before because I helped you make a duct tape dress. So I helped take it off anyway. Jess had a whole outfit full of duct tape.
You stabbed me with a scissor.
That was to take it off. We're flashing forward here. Flashing forward.
But don't say I helped you take it off. You stabbed me in the side with a scissor.
So we bonded over me almost killing her. She was wearing a duct tape outfit, complete with a duct tape purse and everything else.
Not about the purse.
I had the worst outfit of all time that I can't believe this was my first college party and anybody ever spoke to me again. I decided it was a cool idea to wear like Sophie shorts and like a white beater-esque tank top and wrap neon colored athletic wrap all around my body. So I looked like a rave mummy gone wrong, essentially. It was horrible. I look back at those pictures now, and if we get popular enough, maybe we'll post one on the Insta. It is horrible. Okay.
The pictures are so bad. The album on my Facebook is only for the people that are tagged in the photos. No one else can see them.
That was probably a good idea. I probably should have done that as well. So I think mine's, well, all friends. That's probably a bad idea.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, so that was our first party together, and me and Jess quickly realized that we're both the same kind of freaks, and we're both very loud Italians from loud Italian families. Her parents and families from Brooklyn, Queens. My parents are from Brooklyn, so we have the same kind of background like that. We both love the Mets and the Jets. And of course, the Mets was a big bonding point for us over our entire relationship. So that was already a good start. And from there, you know, we bonded together being the loud, obnoxious people on the team every practice, laughing like hyenas, getting our coach to hate us. He pretended he liked us for a little while, but then it became pretty apparent we really did annoy him for real. And that was history. And then we went to many games together, and we have now done a lot of things together. And I'm rambling. And that's how we met.
Okay, my version of the story is a little different.
Yeah.
So, like Toni-ann, went to FDU. I was not recruited to play softball. Instead, I was recruited while on the Stairmaster in the gym. This is the first time I ever went to the gym in my life, and I got recruited to play softball while going to the gym. So, okay. So anyway, I try out. So I don't really remember what practice it was or what, but my first encounter that I remember of us is the Mets were playing. So it definitely was not October or November, obviously.
Okay.
We went to get mozzarella sticks. And because Toni-ann did not like her roommate, we watched the Met game after practice on the floor of my room eating mozzarella sticks.
I don't remember this at all.
So that was like our first like encounter where I was like, oh, okay, I'm becoming friends with girls on my team. Okay.
Oh,
and then, but I will say that the story that you told was a very pivotal moment like in our friend group, because it was like the first time like we all went out to dinner and we all went to Target to get like our outfits together.
Oh,
and it was a very good bonding experience for us all. So your story wasn't off, but in my brain I was thinking about the mozzarella sticks on the floor in my room.
And does that ruin our friendship that I have no recollection of that whatsoever?
No, because I can't tell you how we got to that point or why that was the first time we hung out. But
it checks out. It checks out that would be it. But
100% checks out. Anyway, but so that was that. But like you said, we really bonded over the Mets. As we've gotten older, we've bonded over Taylor. We refer to Met souvenir cups as China. So here's the China.
This one's a special edition.
No, I don't have a special edition. But I don't know where that one was tonight.
Dug for it.
But yeah, so that's how we met. That's how we became friends. Again, the rest is history. All of our friends. We were going to survey people and ask what the name of this podcast should be, but we were honestly worried about the answers. So instead, we just named it ourselves. This is literally like what it's like to be friends with us. So
I did have somebody who will not be named
hence the name
recommend Loud and Obnoxious, which, like I said, checks out with the story on how we bonded. So.
Right. And that probably would have been like 90% of the answers, but who's going to listen to a podcast called Loud and Obnoxious? And we have,
since we're trying our best for good voices here, so we're not going to be loud.
We are. We're trying not to be loud and obnoxious. We can't tell you that when we get passionate, that's not going to happen, but.
Right. Right.
So anyway, moving on, one of our big bonding places is Taylor Swift. Yeah. And we are a little annoyed with the media and like how they're dealing with Taylor and her new boo thing, which let's give the girl a round of applause because Travis Kelce, like, you're winning. You won.
She's having so much fun. She's like,
She is. And you know what? This is the thing that irks me. And we're not going to talk about like Taylor all the time here, but it was a good starting point. And like us talking about her on the side was what made us say, like, okay, we just have to do it. Like,
yeah,
we don't know if we're going to be any good, but we have to do it. My thing is that like people take 16-year-old Taylor, who like really was like writing these basic ass songs about like her love life, like and going on and on and on and whatever. But like those were relatable for the 16-year-olds that were listening to her. One, two, like you none of you have reasons for not liking her. You don't like her because she's everywhere, but like
yeah,
I said to somebody at work, the only difference is that now you have social media, so you know where she's going all the time. In the 90s, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, George Clooney, JFK Jr., you had to just wait for the People magazine to come out the next week
yep.
to find out what they were doing. If there was social media, you would have hated those people just as much as you hate on her. And I will say,
That's a good
we
point.
all know, well, not all, but most people know, I am a big Rihanna hater. I'm a big Rihanna hater.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
have
whoa, whoa.
never
Rihanna's
liked
sitting here
Rihanna.
listening.
Hold
Rihanna's sitting
on.
here watching the
Hold on.
podcast going, what did
But
I do?
no, but I was for a long time. And you wanna know why? Because Ponde Replay was the bane of my existence as a 12-year-old. I hated that song. It was on everywhere. The music video was the only thing MTV has played, and I was over it. So I was like, you know what? Boycott, I don't like you. However, I will say, after the Super Bowl last year, I have found myself enjoying her more.
Okay.
I won't say I'm a super fan because if I
That's
hear those
growth.
songs from the early 2012s, I am like, no, can't do it. But people don't give her that benefit of the doubt. Like, here I am. And again, if you know me, you know me. I don't like her. I would like hear her and change. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So I just think people need to like realize this is the NFL trying to make money on her, not her trying to be in everybody's face.
Because this is the other thing I just finished, and if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. I just watched the 4 parts of the Beckham documentary on Netflix. I just finished it today. Great series. I have to say, I know it's because we grew up in the 90s, so and we're American, so what do we care about football? But he was like, his career was crazy, like actually crazy. And obviously they cover the whole media coverage because they were like a super power couple, like
Mm-hmm.
the biggest in London, Britain, UK, but like worldwide as well. And it's true to your point. If Twitter existed back then, if Instagram existed back then, if TMZ was like as big as it is now back then, people would be so
Right.
sick of them. So sick of
Right.
them.
I mean,
And
I'm a Taylor fan and I am sick of it. Like, I am like, just let the girl live her life. Especially
yeah,
because like we know as fans that like she was not in the media at all for like 6 years. Like, she wasn't in the media because her ex-boyfriend could not handle that. So like for us, we're like just happy to see her happy and like happy to see her in the media again. But like also the fact that I was listening to the radio when the Jets played the Chiefs, they were like, if you're having a watch party tonight, like what?
no,
No, like
no.
no, just no.
It
No.
discounts the female football fans because they
Exactly.
overlap. I am
Right.
clearly a football fan. I didn't just buy this because Taylor Swift played the Jets last week. Well, she didn't play the Jets. The Chiefs played the Jets last week. Like, obviously not. So they can overlap. Let me just point
Right.
out. So, yeah. And I will say, and this is a theory that I meant to tell you the other day, but I was like, I'm going to save it for the podcast with all the media coverage right now. As much as I love her and I tell people to live their life and she can't control the media, we know she's a mastermind and we know that she does, to a certain point, control the media.
Mm-hmm.
And remember how this was literally 2014. Think back to before 1989, when 1989, the original, was coming out. She had her
Mm-hmm.
girl squad. She was on top of the world. Shake It Off was like the big song. She was everywhere. She had her 4th of July parties. She was just
Yep.
ad nauseum in the news, and people were getting sick of her. 1989 comes out. She's touring. Everybody's like
Everyone loved
obsessed
that
with her.
album. Even if you didn't like her, you loved that album.
Yeah. But that was a time when the media was like, oh, I'm so sick of hearing about Taylor. Well, the media wasn't saying that, they were providing the clicks, but everyone was like, I'm so sick of hearing about her. So what does she do? She goes away and she meets Joe. Rest in peace. You're still alive, but rest in peace. And
the man is alive and well, for the record.
No, but then she comes out with Reputation because she went away for a while and she came out with another great album. And I'm just saying, she is a mastermind, her and Tree.
100%.
And this is exactly what she's doing now. She's literally having history repeat itself. 1989 Taylor's version is coming out in 2 weeks. The media is going crazy over her right now. Everybody's saying, sick of Taylor Swift, sick of Taylor Swift, sick of Taylor Swift. She's going to come out in 1989 Taylor's version, and then she's going to go away a little bit. Well, she can't really go away a little bit because she's on tour, but the media is going to die down a little bit with her, and then Reputation Taylor's version is going to come out, and it's just history repeating itself. And I think she's done that intentionally.
Not a bad theory. I do have a confession. I did look up where she'll be for Super Bowl weekend.
She's not going to be the Super Bowl. She has no need to be.
Nope. If Travis makes it to the Super Bowl and there's
she'll go as a spectator. She's definitely not going to perform.
She's going to be in Tokyo on Friday and Saturday. But Tokyo's a whole day ahead of us, essentially. So she does have time to get back.
I don't think that she's going to come to the Super Bowl. That's a far trip. I mean, I know she has a private jet and she could leave at will, but that's still a long flight.
It is. Listen.
Although it is in Vegas, that's a little easier to get to than the East Coast, but still.
We have time. We have time, but I'm just saying, it's not possible. Not
also,
possible.
Watching the way that the Chiefs played the Jets, I don't know if the Chiefs are getting to the Super Bowl this year. So.
Well, I mean, they do have the refs on their side, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not qualified for that.
So yes, I am in support of this Travis Taylor thing. I do think it's nothing serious. I think they're literally just hanging out, having a good time. She goes on tour in, 2 weeks now almost? She has her movie premiere next week. Wonder if he's going to go to that movie premiere. Did we check his schedule?
Another thing that I was asking my mom. So now that this movie is good, not that it's like a movie, but would this qualify as a musical? Because it's a concert, and can it
be? For her to get a Tony?
No, but that's what my mom said. An Oscar. It's in the movie theater.
I don't think Taylor Swift's concert movie is going to be Oscar nominated.
I mean, I think she deserves an Oscar. I'm still mad that All Too Well 10-minute version was not nominated for a short film.
A short film? Well, yeah, I wouldn't say should have. Could have been. I guess the concert film could maybe be nominated for a documentary.
Oh, maybe.
Section, cinematography for documentary, or I don't know if they have categories like that. But I think it's a slim chance that she's going to get an Oscar for this.
Girl just made back AMC theaters all of their money from COVID in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Now Beyonce's doing the same thing. And you know what? Good for you guys. You're giving back to the economy.
She stimulates the economy. She is Miss Americana. We know it. So
she knows it.
All I know is the girl's gonna break free. She's got her concert premiere. Whether he'll be there or not, who cares? I mean, we care. I sound like a loser. We care. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Great looking man. That's why.
Great looking man. He's got a great family.
He told them. Great family. Great mom.
I'm obsessed. Honestly,
I liked him before this. Obviously.
Well, yes.
Before they
you have him on your fantasy team.
I have him on multiple fantasy teams.
Oh, and he's doing pretty well for you.
He is. He is doing pretty well for me.
So we'll see what happens with them, but I don't think it's gonna. If it goes any far, it's gonna be a slow burn because it's, she's got things to do.
Exactly, he's got things to do.
He's got things to do, and she's got more to do.
All right, what's next on your little agenda?
Well, you said you didn't want to get into the rep thing. I was going to bring up the Jets just because I think it's a good intro into our sports obsession. Dip the toe a little bit.
Oh, I mean, we could go into the ref thing. I just didn't know if we were qualified for it. But go ahead.
What's the qualification?
Let's dip our toes in the pool.
I wasn't going to go straight to the ref thing. All I was going to say was that, I'm wearing my Jet shirt today, obviously, because it's Victory Monday. And it just sucked. Like we just picked the worst teams. That's what I was really trying to get the ball rolling on.
We definitely picked the worst teams, but it's not our fault. We were inherited into this. And
Mhm.
I was thinking the other day, so another thing that Toni-ann and I bonded over was David Wright. And the other
Oh.
day, or not the other day, a couple weeks ago, was coming up that like it was his last game, like the memories were on Facebook, whatever. Let's just rewind to that day, like 5 years ago, when we literally had people texting us the day during the day asking how we were dealing with this.
Yeah.
Like we were so dramatic. The fact that like we actually acted like we were going to a funeral in hindsight was ridiculous.
I had an out of body experience when we were in stands at that game. Like I can only imagine what we looked like to other people.
But the thing that I was thinking of is I was wondering about those kids in front of us and if the kid took my advice and
How do we love the Mets and sports so much, but yet discourage anyone at any turn to just run away?
I was just like thinking about how bad they were this year, and I was like, wow, I really told this kid that he shouldn't be a Met fan, and like here I am making my kid a Met fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Repeating the cycle, even though I don't want to be in the cycle anymore.
It's really obnoxious. And I will say,
I mean, I say that, but I do want to be in the cycle, obviously.
Because we're hoping it's gonna eventually pay off.
It's never gonna pay.
It's never gonna pay off. This is the year it was literally supposed to pay off, and look what happens.
I don't
on both ends of our sports spectrum.
I really only think the only games that I like genuinely watched were the two that we went to together. Those were the only two games I went to all year. And that was too much for me because they were just that disappointing this year.
I don't think even when we went to the two games we went to this year, I didn't even pay attention to the game much, to be honest.
The big game that we went to with everyone, I really was like, I feel like I didn't pay attention to that game. The Oriole one, I paid more attention. I have my sweatshirt on.
I thought you were doing that on purpose because it said more things. I didn't comment on it because I thought you wanted it that way.
No. Just relax.
Well, all right, cool.
Again, this is what it's like being friends with them.
I genuinely thought you did that on purpose.
No.
I was like,
I
oh,
was
she wants to
wondering
show
why
Taylor
the letters
Swift.
were so big, too. Like in my head, I was like, why is this so big? I didn't think it was that big.
It's
Anyway.
because it's and you have all the dates underneath it, right?
Yes. The infamous blue sweatshirt that I got in the parking lot because I didn't have tickets for the concert. Drink to that.
Yeah. Jess is still trying. She's going to have some angel. She's going to win the lottery this year, and that's going to be the first thing she purchases.
Yeah.
Her husband and her child will just have to be priority B.
If only we can win the lottery this year. Do a lot of things.
I'm trying to think. What else can we talk about? I mean, yeah, getting into the misery of our sports. I feel like that's going to be more prevalent if we keep this podcast up when the seasons are actually going on.
Right. This is true. This is very true. I do have Jeff's pants on with this shirt. My outfit does not match at all. Those are on the right way, just in case anybody was wondering. I went to the eye doctor last week, and you're gonna laugh at this.
Okay.
Because you know how you always say that you have terrible depth perception?
Yes.
Well, the eye doctor gave me this thing, and it was like to test your depth perception. And I thought that I had bad depth perception. Like I literally walk into walls. I never know how far things are away from me. I got them all right.
Really?
No one was more
surprised to hear that.
I am too.
Well, I don't go to an eye doctor, but I guess I'll ask for one of those tests.
It was very interesting. You would have failed. She was like, nobody like makes it past the fifth one, right? Like she wanted me to stop, and I just kept going, and I was like, no, I didn't know that. You told me to read them, so I'm reading them.
Well, like, what was the test? Like, how?
it was like these circles and they were like raised. Like it was like 3 circles in a row. And then like one of them, I had to tell her like which one was popping out.
Oh,
And I got
geez, I
them
would
all
never get
right.
that.
I was shocked. Some of them were really hard, but I got them.
And I tell you that being an outfielder and having terrible depth perception are not two things that mix well.
Well, we literally think everything is a home run when we're at games together. So
Every
like,
time a ball is hit that way, and it's probably a foul ball, I'm like ready for it. We're not going to talk about the one time that I really misjudged the ball.
we'll save that for a rainy day when we have no content.
But yeah, but that's it. I mean, I think that I would definitely fail. I already have been diagnosed with hearing loss. So I think that if I went to the doctor and then they also told me that my depth perception is bad, that's just like bet 2 senses off the bat that are not working well for me. I already had to get my eyes surgically corrected. So
Yeah, that is true. But they say that your other senses heightened. So do you feel like your taste or your smell is like heightened?
no.
Oh, okay.
But it's got to be true to some point because like when you're in dim lights, you feel like you can't like hear as well. Or is it the opposite effect? Or like when the radio's loud, you can't like see the street signs.
I feel like that's just something that people do, but it's actually not like solving anything.
Like, can you turn the radio down? I'm trying to find the street. Like people
Right,
do
like
that all
that
the
does
time.
nothing for you. You just think you're concentrating more.
Yeah, no, I can't say that my taste is the same.
Proving the point. Oh, my phone just reminded me of my bedtime at 9 o'clock. This reminded me that while we were setting this up, you were like, let me shut off my ringer. And I am just
Please
concerned.
explain that to me, why that's a big deal. I mean, I have to hear, if my phone rings, how am I going to hear it?
I literally think only my mom and my grandma keep the ringer on. And they still don't know when their phones are ringing.
I just don't understand, like, for especially
You
somebody like
hear
you.
it. You hear it buzzing.
Okay,
Or like it's in your pocket.
It's not always in my pocket. I mean, granted, I now have a watch, so I
You
guess
have a
there's really
watch,
not a
too.
reason. But that's a new development. I haven't always had the watch.
Well, you are the only person that I know that has like a ringtone that's like not an Apple ringtone too.
No, it's New Romantics by Taylor Swift. Obviously. And
Obviously.
I guess I'm gonna have to get Taylor's version once it comes out. I don't know how to burn ringtones anymore. I got that in like 2007.
Yeah,
whenever the song came
I
out.
was thinking about that. And I was like, how do you even make it? Like, can you make a ringtone? Like, what if I wanted to make it a Taylor Swift song?
How did we
Like,
used
do
to
you
do
go
it?
into Apple Music and you like edit it?
I'm gonna have to Google that because back in the day I had it in my iTunes and
you could like edit the clip and then
like
you
put the file in your
to your phone, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So now
These
I
kids,
don't know.
they don't even know the struggle that it was. They also don't know like what it was like to like accidentally be on the internet and like buying ringtones and like then freaking out when your parents like told you that you bought
they still have the what's it called? The ringtunes?
the ringback tones.
The ringback tone.
No, okay, wait. So we were playing this game the other day at my aunt's, and it was like most likely to, and you had to like give out the cards to who in the group was most likely to be that person. And one of the cards was like most likely to have a ringback tone. And like my parents like were playing with us. No one knew what it was. So I picked up the phone and Melissa was the only person that I knew for the longest time that had a ringback tone still. So I called her and then I wasn't doing it. So I hung up real fast and she was like, did you mean to call me? I was like, oh, you're the only person that I remembered like having a ringback tone, like even when they weren't a thing anymore. So like I thought if I called you.
What was her song?
It was like a whistle song. And now, like if I heard it, I would know it because I would like whistle it all the time. But now when I go to like recollect it, all I can think is I ain't worried about it by the whistling like from the One Republic song. Like I ain't worried. So yeah, like it was like I don't even know what it was.
Was it the whistle song by Flo Rida?
No. It was like hold on. Find it.
Yeah, Melissa. I mean, Melissa's been the musicale, so that makes sense that she would have the ring back.
I'm gonna have to find it.
All right.
It was literally just whistling, and I can't think of the tone right now.
But yeah, those don't exist anymore.
So yeah, those things don't exist. Nothing exists. Like we're just getting old, is what's happening.
Yeah, we're definitely getting old.
You weren't supposed to confirm that. You were supposed to make me feel like.
Oh, no, we're getting old for sure. I'm confirming we're old. Because now when I watch football games, I am more attracted to the coaches on the sidelines than the players themselves. So I think that's a sign, considering most of those players
I mean, Sean McVay, is that his name? The one from the Rams?
Rams.
Yeah. He's a good-looking man.
The guy from the Dolphins is pretty cute.
The guy, I mean, the Jets coach isn't bad looking either. I don't know what he's got going on with that beard right now. But this week I was like, whoa, what is happening? Like, yeah, I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know why.
And I usually don't like bald men, but he's got something going.
Yeah, he's like offsetting it with the beard and the bald.
Yeah. Who else? There's other people too that are attractive. Oh, the Eagles coach isn't bad.
Yeah, he's not. He's like in that in-between range of like, am I young or am I old? I feel like he looks like he could be old.
No, he's definitely in like his late 30s.
Oh, really? He's that young?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't pay attention to the Eagles coaches because they're the Eagles coaches.
Well, I watched the Kelsey documentary, so.
Me too. That was great.
Oh, okay, he's 42. I'm lying, but honestly, that's only 10 years older than us.
Great documentary. Speaking of documentaries, I thoroughly enjoyed the Kelsey documentary.
Yes, I want to be best friends with.
At one point, I was actually a little like worried because I was like, wow, I like them way too much. Like, I would, not that I would be an Eagles fan, but I was like, am I like rooting for the Eagles? Because like the other day I was watching the Eagles game and like Jason Kelsey did something and I was like ecstatic. You thought that like he was on the Jets and I was like, what is happening to me?
That's what I've been accused of by my brother. He calls me a turncoat because I'm a Taylor Swift fan, and when the Jets were playing the Chiefs, I was like tweeting or Instagramming about Taylor Swift, and he texts me and goes, "You're the reason why the Jets lost because you're rooting for the other team. You're a traitor. You're a turncoat." I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, no, I could be a Taylor Swift fan and a Jets fan at the same time, but I mean, obviously, I kind of wanted Kelsey to do well.
I also don't get, like, what does she have to do with like the winning and the losing? Like, I don't get it. Like,
it's men that can't control their frustrations.
She made MetLife Stadium more money than either of those two franchises to have.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So it just sounds like jealousy to me.
It is jealousy, and it's ridiculous. And I told him I will not stand for the slander to call me a turncoat because I still wear this stupid shirt, even when they suck every week. I'm stuck with the teams I have. There's no changing them at this point. It's a little late for that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's our agenda for this evening.
Yeah. We're going to need to figure out topics going forward. Maybe we'll grow in structure, etc.
Right.
But
we will. A few things that we could do weekly. Who knows? But we just need you to stick around for that thing. For that to
give
happen,
us a chance.
I guess. Give us a chance, please. We promise we'll get more entertaining as we get more comfortable as well.
Yes. We have to figure out
our. I've already worn my shirt. I've already worn my shirt backwards, and the world hasn't found out that Toni-ann leaves her phone on ring. And
I still don't get why that's such a big deal. We're gonna need some comments on whenever we post this. We'll have to do a poll. Is your phone usually on volume during the day or on silent? I put it on silent when I go to bed or if I'm somewhere that it shouldn't ring.
I will say that I only have like my emergency bypass on. So it rings if like my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, or Alec call me.
Wow, I'm not on that. Everybody take note of that. Am I at least in your favorites list?
I don't have a favorites list. Do you know who was the only person in my favorites list because I accidentally favorited them? And I just think it's funny, is a FaceTime call for my Aunt Mare. It literally is just like Aunt Mare FaceTime. But no one else is in favorites because one, I don't even know how I did that.
Note to self, remove Jess from my favorites.
I don't know how to make favorites.
This is like the top 8 all over again on MySpace.
This is why we have like acceptance issues as 30-year-olds because of MySpace top 8s.
I honestly wish they came back. It's pretty cool.
I mean, you knew your friends were mad
I
at
just
you.
said that to somebody the other day. The equivalent of that nowadays is
Unfollowing each other on Instagram?
No, the pinned text messages.
I don't have those either. They give me anxiety.
Okay, so what we're learning is Jess has a really weird phone culture. This has nothing to do with me. Most people keep their phones volume on. They have pinned messages. They have favorites in their phone.
Okay, the pinned messages and the favorites I will give you, but no one has their phone on.
Okay,
volume.
we'll just have to take a poll to figure this out.
We will take a poll.
Okay.
We will.
My Instagram account, it's called @BeingFriendsPod. And we're also going to be on YouTube for if you want our video, or Apple Podcasts if you just want audio. So be sure to like and subscribe.
In our brains, we're really good at this already. We have 1,000 followers.
Right. We'll be the pod greats. I don't want to name podcasts by name because I don't know if there's like copyright infringement involved, but I was about to blurt one out. I'm not going to.
Listen, I mean, we already have like inspiration from the podcast that we listen to.
Right.
But we're going to try our best not to be just like them. We're just going to be our own version of that.
Yes. We just have to work out the kinks of not talking over each other, and we'll eventually get better equipment, and if need be, maybe this is fine as is for now. We're low budget.
Very low budget. Yeah. Very. It's like the first Twilight film of podcasting.
Happy Twilight season, yeah. Bella, where you been, Loca?
The fact that movie made me want to read the books just will never
over and over again. We read these books.
That is for another time. That is for the episode 2 will be all about Twilight.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. And on that note,
yes, thanks for joining. But thanks for being friends with us. Oh, that's a cute sign off. I like that. Thanks for being friends with us. I can't say it with a straight face.
You look for Barney. Thanks for being my friend.
Thank you for being a friend. Should we play that off? That will definitely get copyright infringement.
Yeah, you can't play music.
Okay. All right. Peace out.
Bye.